What is going on to all my lovely Libras? Butch here. I am going to do your August monthly read from now to the end of August. It is a general read, so it may not resonate with everyone. It is for your Sun, Moon, Rising, and your Venus. For all you cross watchers, roles can be reversed. Always feel free to comment down below. I am going to be using this beauty. One of my favorite decks. Has been for a long time. Still can't say it properly. I am really bad at pronunciation, especially when it's in a different language. I tried. I failed. I admitted defeat. With all that being said, let's get in. Universe, spirits, and guides. What message do we have for Libra for August 2026? All right, Libra. Now I do see a connection, whether this is someone that you already know or someone you're going to meet. And like I said, it is an August read, so I feel like if you already know this person, you're going to know exactly who we're talking about when we're talking. You know, when we're going through this, I feel like you're going to know who we're talking about if you do know them. So what I see is I feel like this new energy coming in, you know, and in the beginning, I feel like it was great, or it's going to be great in the beginning. You know, I see a lot of fun. But I feel like this is more of a warning. With this person, I feel like you're gonna see them differently very quickly. You know, we start off with the Hangman, and I feel like with this person coming in, acting a certain way, being a certain way, I feel like it feels like fun. It feels like a good time. And it feels like they're into you. But I feel like this person's playing games. And I feel like when you're not with this person, you'll know that. You're going to feel that. You know, we have the Nine of Swords, some Gemini energy, Sagittarius with the Knight of Wands in reverse. I feel like when you're not around this person, it feels very different than when you are with this person. And that's something I really feel you should trust. Why is it that you feel so anxious and you know, why you feel so differently when you're not with this person? The reason that is I feel like this person's a talker. Eight of Wands. You know, some more Sagittarius energy. We also have some Libra energy in reverse with the Queen of Swords. They're a talker, but they're also a bullshitter. You know, they talk a good game because I feel like they're very good at talking. But I feel like what's going on in front of you is not easily seen. We got the Two of Swords. Because they don't want you to see it. You know, I feel like they're hiding it from you with the Seven of Swords. You know, I just feel like it's almost like you can see through their bullshit when they're not around. You know, there's a very hot and cold energy, like I said, with this person, with the Taurus energy. But we have the Five of Cups. So I feel like when you're not around this person, it's very easy to kind of see through their bullshit. Not so easy when they're around you because I feel like they're very good at bullshitting. You know, but like I said, when you're on your own, when you're not around this person, I feel like it's a lot easier to see through the fantasy and seeing reality. Now, this energy moves very quickly, very synonymous with someone that has ill intentions, because they move quickly, so you don't have time to really think about it. So you don't really have time to adjust. Someone that comes in quickly and wants something from you quickly and tries to push that agenda, it's because they don't have long-term game. They have a short-term game. They can't keep up long-term. Now, I feel like this person, they do want you, but not for the reason you want to be wanted. Like I said, I feel like this person's playing games. I feel like anytime you question this person, it's going to be very defensive and it's going to cause some drama. With the Tower card, we have Nine of Wands as well, some more Sagittarius. We have the Tower card. I just feel like with this person, whenever you question this, whenever you have doubts, they try to convince you that you're overthinking. They try to make you think that it's somehow, some way your fault. And when that doesn't work, they get loud. They get angry. And they lash out, whether it be just walking away, giving you the cold shoulder, or just being louder than you, like making you feel like you're doing something wrong, making you feel like they're the victim and you're doing something to them. I mean, like I said, when you're not around this person, you can't trust them. There's no trust, and I feel like the more you think about it, the less you trust them. And like I said, heading down this road with this person, letting them bullshit you, is gonna cost you. Because I feel like this person is just trying to trap you. Like I said, I feel like there is there's definitely a connection here, but the connection they want from you is more of a physical thing, more of what they can get from you. And once they get their hooks in, they don't want to let go. But I don't feel like it's a healthy. I don't feel like. I feel like it's toxic. If I'm going to be absolutely honest with you, this is not someone you can trust, and I feel like it's going to end up you're going to get hurt. Because when you find out, and you will, Libras are very intelligent. A smooth talker can only get past us so long. And there's going to come a point when you realize, you're putting in all the work. You're putting in all the effort. Like maybe they start off putting in a lot of effort, trying to get in your head, trying to convince you of things. But all of a sudden it shifts to where you're putting in the effort. Like you always feel like you're trying to keep it together. You're always feeling like you're trying to impress them. Like you're trying to feel, and it's just very toxic. And I feel like there's a moment when you have this wake-up call, and I'd rather it be sooner than later. If I'm going to be honest with you, I want the best for you, and I just feel like it's almost like collecting red flags, and they're trying to convince you you're colorblind. I just don't feel like you can trust this person. I feel like they're very good at bullshitting. And there's nothing in here that tells me that you can trust this person. I don't see any of this as a win for you. I don't see this as any benefit to you. And I don't feel like sometimes we get with people and they're kind of toxic, but we hope, because we have feelings for them, that they'll get there, that we can turn them around. You shouldn't spend your life trying to turn somebody around. There's plenty of people out there that are just the way you like them. Three of Wands in reverse. Again, I don't feel like this person's changing because I don't feel like they're a problem. You can't change someone that doesn't feel like they need to change. Like I said, I feel like this person putting a lot of effort in the beginning. to try to hook you. And once they have you hooked, then they start doing less and less work. You have something they want. I feel like it is very physical, but it can be for other people, it can be something else that they want from you. They want stability. You have something that they lack and they want it, and they'll do whatever it takes to get it. They'll make you think whatever it takes to get it. But it's all a facade. It's not real. Like I said, that energy of moving quickly. Always be cautious in a relationship when they're trying to move quickly, when they constantly want to move quickly. I'm not saying some relationships can move quickly. They can. But if they're always pushing the agenda of moving quickly, then we got to start slowing it down and really see what's going on. It's very similar to if you ever go buy something like a car or a house and they throw it down all this paperwork for you and they say sign here, and they just pull back a little bit so you can just see the sign area. Sign here, sign here. They don't want you to sit there and read it all, because if you read it all, you'll start to realize where they're trying to screw you. A good company trying to sell you something wants you to read it all. They even say, take it home, read it over, and come back to me. People that say that, it hits a little different than someone that's just like, oh, it's just some legal mumbo jumbo. Just sign this. No, I don't want to sign that. Trust me, when I bought my first car from a dealership, I wish I would have read the fine print. And that's what I feel like with this person. It's that energy of they want to sell you that car, and once you buy the car, you're locked in. That's where they want you to be. They want you to be owing them. They want you to be locked in. They want you to they want to have control over you. I don't think they're as good as they think they are, because like I said, I feel like with that judgment card, I feel like you're going to see for who they are. They're just hoping it's later than sooner. I want it to be sooner than later for you. But they are a talker. They go above and beyond. I can see that in the beginning. They're very above and beyond, trying to seem so perfect and so genuine, but really pushing that agenda really hard. Now, another thing with this person is, I don't know if this is going to resonate with everybody. It's going to resonate with someone. Is I feel like when you're out with this person, you're around friends with this person, they even they put on even a better face around your friends. That's something that's a red flag. Look out for that. Because I feel like people like that, especially people that'll throw you under the bus in front of your friends or around your friends when you're not there, what that's doing is it's creating so when shit falls apart, they can come back and say, well, I was the victim. They want to make themselves look like the best person possible, and they even put it on really thick when they're around other people, friends, family, stuff like that. Look out for that, because it's a message I'm getting. It's going to resonate with someone. I just don't. It doesn't just come to me for no reason. It's like that energy of when you break up or when shit hits the fan. They've put on such a face to your friends that your friends have a hard time believing that they're the perpetrator. It's just another narcissistic tactic that people use. It's almost like trying to turn your friends against you. With this, we have a lot of Sagittarius energy. We have Aries. We have Taurus. We have Capricorn. We have Virgo. Cancer, Pisces. Gemini and Virgo. Or Gemini and Libra, sorry. That's such a, it's a tactic that I've seen plenty of times. When someone seems overly nice. Now, someone that's nice won't seem overly nice. They'll just seem nice. But if someone feels overly nice, then it's almost like right away you have the thought and you got to follow that. You have a lead there. So follow that lead. The lead is they feel disingenuine. Like the niceness seems created. Nice people don't, sometimes you'll meet people and yeah, they seem overly nice, but when they're overly nice and they want something from you, it's always kind of a thing. It's not necessarily a red flag. It's something that I feel like pay attention to. If they seem too good to be true, that's also something to pay attention to. I'm not saying get in your own way. I'm just saying be careful. Because there's a lot of people out there that are good at what they do. And what they do is bullshit. What they do is, there's a movie, The Dark Knight. It was a Batman movie. I don't know how many of you have seen it. But one of the lines that it always gets me is some people just want to watch the world burn. Like they offer nothing good to the world, and all they want to do is tear shit up. All they want to do is make themselves happy. Making other people happy is not even on their radar. Like with this person, I feel like they're very attentive in the beginning because they want to know you. Now that's the misconception of someone that actually likes you and someone that is just trying to get details on you, how to work you. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that will try to work you. Maybe they've been hurt before and now they're putting that on you. Whatever the case, it's not your fault. That's just toxic behavior, and that's someone that is obviously mentally unstable. But again, I've seen that before. I dated a girl. She was a Capricorn. And I didn't see it in the beginning because she was very good at knowing what I wanted and portraying that. But what I didn't realize behind the scenes is that every time she got a chance, she would throw digs at me in front of my friends. Or she would try to belittle me in front of my friends. Or anytime I told her anything, she would go and spread a rumor. Like I said it. Like one of the ones I remember, and this is where I really clued into who she was. So one of my friends, he was at my house and he was telling me that his girlfriend was giving him shit and he wanted to stay over at my house, so I let him stay. But he said his girlfriend was giving him shit because she was accusing him of cheating. My girlfriend at the time heard that and then went around and told a friend that was friends with his girlfriend that she had seen him, or she had heard that he was out sometime with this other girl, which was bullshit, but she took it because she heard she heard there was already a fracture. So she was in there trying to split them up. And now it goes back to where this guy thought it was me that said something, which I didn't. So it caused a fracture between me and him. So what it was is she was trying to separate me from all my friends so that she had more control over me. She was very good at it. I give her that, but I clued in. Like once I heard that, I was like, okay. Because I remember her being there and she was kind of doing her own thing, and me and my buddy were on the porch, but the screen door was open, so she would, she was eavesdropping. She was looking for information, and she didn't go to the girlfriend and say it. She went to her friend that was a friend of the girlfriend, so that, you know what I mean? It was like passing on the story. I've been fooled before. It sucks. It hurts my pride that someone got one over on me, but it sucks. It would suck even worse if I would have not seen that and spent more time with her and caused more fractures in my own life. We all make mistakes. We all sometimes trust the wrong person. but we have to get past it. And, once we realize it, it's time to vacate ourselves from that area. Like I said, I do feel like this person causes a lot of shit. And the more they know about you, the more they know about people around you. Puppet masters, I call them. They just go out and they just want to watch people bicker. They want to watch drama. Some people do it because they want to separate your friend from your friends. Some people just want to cause shit and laugh at it. Nowadays we have a lot of those people in the world. They go around with cameras filming incidents that happens. Instead of putting the camera down and going and helping a person, they're just sitting there filming because they want the likes. They want the views. It's drama. It's riveting for them. Like, I watched one video and this girl was getting abused by her boyfriend or this guy, and this one guy was filming it, and then he scanned and there was like 4 more people filming it as well. Instead of them 4 people going and helping that girl, like that shit irks me, man. It does. I wouldn't even think to pull my camera. I'd be already over there and just separate them. I'm not gonna go beat the guy up because I don't know what the situation is. For all I know, there could be a long story. Now, I don't advocate ever abusing someone. It was more of like pushing and shoving and stuff like that. Obviously, if there was like more striking and stuff, then I'm getting involved. And it's none of my business except for I'm a human and I want other humans. I feel like protective over other humans. But in that situation, I was thinking, like, they don't even have to go over there and beat him up. They could just go in there, separate them, and figure out what the hell's going on. And if this is an abusive guy, then get her out of there. But no, they thought, oh, we'll film it, we'll put it on the internet, that'll help her. That's just sharing an embarrassing moment that she's going through, a moment that she probably doesn't want to relive. Now you're putting it all over the internet. Dumb. I don't get it. Now if you're just there's certain situations, obviously, if you're there by yourself and you're over in a distance and you see something going on, I don't condone you going over there and getting yourself in a bad situation. Best thing you can do. But why on the phone? Call the police. Call somebody to help. The phone shouldn't be used as a camera. Anyway, I'm going off on some silly shit that has nothing to do with this read. I love you all. Be good. Take care. Stay safe.